Hello. What a hell of a day, man. Woo. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You make my gray skies blue again. I believe. You look nice.
And how are we doing now? Thank you, you too, darling.
Fantastic, I hear you.
Sorry about that. I think my mic is a little bit...
On. A little low, but okay.
Well, how about now?
Hello. Say again?
How about now?
Yes, but it looks like it's coming in a little after. It's okay. I can hear you. We'll just wait for our guest. Make sure she doesn't have any questions. I think she knows what to do. Unbelievable day, Chris. I'll tell you. You know,
Needless
it's
to
like
say,
an Amazon
you've reached
world.
the converted.
They want it, and they want it now. How have you been?
Good, just very busy. My business is taking off, so...
Fantastic. That is good news. I'm so happy for you.
But it's still on the slow side, so gradually building, and that's how I like it. Slow is smooth, smooth is steady.
Exactly. And that's how everything is. I mean, nothing happens overnight. It just doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, Danny, never in my life did I ever think I was going to be a businessman. But, you know the old saying as well as I, tell God your plan and he laughs.
That's right. It's so funny. Let me take this weight spot off. We have one live audience member. And if
Hello out
they
there.
would like to come up and ask questions, or if they want to talk about something, they're welcome to come up.
Please,
while we wait for our guest.
highly suggest it. But whilst we're still waiting, ladies and gentlemen, it's been far too long. We've missed you very much. I'm Chris Snell. That's Daniela Park. I might be in the Horn of Africa. She might be in the Sunshine State. But in the eyes of the recovery community, we're just two bozos on the bus, doing life whilst doing it sober. Welcome, one and all. Our featured guest is a lovely, lovely individual who's a trailblazer in the fullest sense of the word, Laura Cathcart Robbins, who will be joining us shortly. I'd just like to reiterate what Danny said earlier. If you have a question for any of our guests, please don't hesitate. Feel free to hop on. We will, of course, at certain times during the course of the hour-long interview, provide the opportunity for you to hop on, as long as it is relevant to the subject at hand, I should say. I do believe there are people who enjoy platter-patter now and then, which we don't mind. It's welcomed, but just for time constraints, keep it relevant to the subject. We ask you with grace and humility.
You know, I can imagine the typical scenario would be she thought it was 5 p.m. PST when it's actually 5 p.m. EST. It says EST. I don't know. There's Woody.
Hey, Woody, long-time contributor, long-time audience member. How you doing, matey?
So that could be the possibility.
Well, you know what?
We've
endless
had
possibilities. Here's a nice knee slapper for the audience. Danielle and I were just talking off the cuff via social media, and I happened to make the rhyme remark, which is actually a philosophical teaching from my native country, which I have the tendency to anglicize. Not applicable to our guest at hand, of course, but in life in general. Remember, people aren't bad. Everyone is good. Some people are just good for nothing, but good nevertheless. You
I'll be
have to be
honest.
positive.
I lost
Eh?
it today on a customer, and it's they wanted to stick it to me, and
Oh,
and
come
that's
on.
just what they did, and it was totally something that I had. It was like, it's a long story, but to make the long story short, I
Hmm.
lost my cool, which I still haven't even thought about apologizing yet, or even I defended myself because I took it personally because this person decided they wanted to screw me, and they did, like I said. But the way I responded was like like I was talking to a friend. I guess
Ah.
I'm just so fed up with people walking on me when it comes to business, because
Hmm.
I'm the company or the seller. I have to take this crap. And you just get sick of it. You know what I mean? Like, no,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
trying to screw me. And because you were wrong, you're going to screw me, like, and it's
Hmm.
just so unfair.
Very.
But my part was totally losing it. I mean, I didn't call her names. I didn't say anything. I didn't, but I responded. I responded and responded and
Ah.
responded.
Right.
And
Well, I've
now
got
it's
one
like,
too.
guess who pays though? Me.
Ah.
Because now I
Well,
have that
surely.
feeling of uneasiness. And
Hmm.
of course, I took it out on my partner who's here, and he
Oy.
didn't have a good day. So now I have, it's just like, you see how if you lose your cool, and you, I mean, everyone does it. It's hard not to,
Sure.
once in a blue moon, but you can see the ripple effect of how it can really mess
Ah.
up your mood.
Very much. You're preaching to the converted. I mean, I've struggled with a short fuse temper my entire life. And it's only now recently that I've actually proactively taken the steps to keep that in check. You'll enjoy the story. I was also in corporate retail for many years. In fact, I held my very first job when I was 13. At age 16, I'm working behind the counter of a cell phone store, and a lovely lady walks in. She gives me her cell phone. She wants the cell phone battery replaced. Now, I'm sure in America you also have generic cell phone parts, like you would have generic car parts. So
Yeah.
off I trot to the back of the storeroom. I ask my boss, Boss, how much for an original? How much for a generic? This much for the original, this much for the generic, but beware, the generic tends to blow up like that of a pregnant lady. So what do? I go and rehearse and repeat verbatim exactly what my boss has said to the lady in question. Beware, the generic blows up like a pregnant lady. Be careful, she says. I am pregnant, comes the answer. I go back to the
Oh,
storeroom. My boss throws me with a phone, and here sits the mark on my head. So,
no.
true
That's
story,
insane.
true story.
Wow.
My name is
What
not
a
Chris for nothing.
Jesus.
South Africans are a very wily people.
Yeah. That's a funny story, and you paid because you got the hit in the
Big
head.
time. Big
Um,
time.
you know what I've been noticing a lot on Instagram is there's so many people in recovery. It's just amazing
Yeah,
how many
yeah.
people I've seen, these accounts just flourishing. A lot of new people, and it's
A
so
whole new
incredible how many
generation.
people are getting sober, man. It's cool.
Big time. Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. And I try to make myself available to people who have just entered the community and just give them a warm welcome. I mean, when I came into the world of the recovery community, you were among the first to have welcomed me with open arms. You didn't need to, which is always my response to people, but pass the torch. pass the torch. It's our turn to welcome the newbies. And
Yeah.
I know it's scary, and it's very, very scary. In fact, I'm still scared witless about talking about a lot of things, but here's a nice saying for you. It's about taking the uncomfortable and making it fun comfortable. How's that?
I love that. Very cool.
And
That,
go
that's
for
what
it,
I was
darling.
thinking when I started the show.
How do I ever forget that fateful Tuesday evening? Hey, Chris, would you like to come onto a show? No, too expensive. Oh, wait a second. I've got an iPhone in the cupboard somewhere. Look what I got. And so, from an from an iPhone to an iPad, what progressions we have made in the world
It's awesome.
of talk. What's next?
Yeah.
Are we going to go to the Apple Smart TV?
Well, I hope so. Shoot. I
Oh
mean, we
yeah,
do
a whole lot
show
more
up.
comfortable. Needless to say. Folks, I also like to take this time again to remind you that we're trying to introduce a Q&A section on the show. Look, I'm a talker. Daniela is starting to talk. But the show's about you after all. And we would like you to really open up your hearts and not be afraid to share perhaps any sort of queries that you have about regards to recovery or any topic associated of the like with our guest. I say keep it short and keep it relevant. We're just doing that for logistics' sake. Remember, the show runs to the consensus of a full hour. And as much as we would like to get a lot of people on, sure, the more the merrier. But please don't be shy. Don't be shy. And don't make me do it because you know I'll do it. Daniela knows me well enough. I will put a sign around my neck that says, please start talking to the guest. It is Beyond Talk Radio. This is Fireside Chat, damn it.
I mean,
Uh,
we're batting for what, 5 now? We've got it's like, I mean, if we don't have any guests showing up, then the audience has no questions because there's no damn guests. It's just amazing. And when they do show up, they don't know what the heck's going on because they didn't read the memo.
oh,
And
don't say that. Don't say
I'm,
that.
I guess not in England. Yeah, in England, I'm bloody tired of this.
Bloody
It takes
tired of this.
effort.
Shite.
Right.
Fucking gobshite.
It's just, we're trying to
My
bring you a
goodness.
show, but you people don't show up. You don't read the fucking memos.
We post the links on Instagram.
5 p.m. EST. Like,
What does it stand
there's
for?
always
Echo
some
Sierra
reason.
Tango.
There's always a reason why these people cannot make it to our show. We got the time wrong. Oh, I'm hoping that she's okay because she's a very sweet, awesome chick. But
I'm
like,
sure.
as
You
far
read a book,
as,
didn't you?
oh yeah, it was really good. Really good.
I'm sure.
Stash. Yeah. And
Stash.
she's
Just came out
quite
last
the
month.
lady. She's quite the
Oh,
lady, I'll tell you.
oh. I saw that in the publicity kit that you put out. That is
Yeah.
lady. I'm starting to
Yeah.
feel a little threatened.
She's actually so non-threatening though. Very cool. Very cool girl.
I'm sure. Very down to earth. But
Yeah.
I mean, all the girls that have come here are extremely down to earth. I think about
Yeah.
Limi Doka, Lisa Romano. The one wily one was Bronwyn Wyndham Burke. But I mean that
Yes.
in a good way. She was
Yeah.
Wily Coyote on a stick. But
She was cute.
wonderful. Very, very sweet. Very, very sweet.
Kezia.
Ketsia, absolutely. I just released a podcast with Ketsia.
Yes.
And she still
Great.
contributes to Doing It Sober Live, right? The website.
Yes. Yeah. She's like
Wonderful
the
stuff.
blogger here and there. Whenever she has no pressure. Whenever she has something on her mind or would like to share, or wants to write, she's welcome to.
And a wonderful writing voice. Wonderful writing voice. I've read some of her
She's
work.
awesome. She's a
I
good
think
good
she's
person, and she's now,
very.
very pregnant.
Yeah, in her 40s, can you believe it? And she's
It's
spoken
very
about it.
amazing.
It's not like I'm spilling the beans or anything, but very, very sweet girl. All the women we've
Yeah.
had here was wonderful. And of course, the best in my opinion, that's my opinion because I love stand-up comedy, was Craig Shoemaker. Craig was
Oh,
just out of this world. he couldn't
he
help
was great.
he couldn't help himself to literally tease me for every word that came out of my mouth.
Oh,
I mean, what is it? Because of my English accent? Is it the way that I say? No, I'm not going to say that word. You said it makes you uncomfortable. Uh, to even recollecting about Gandhi.
yeah. Oh God, was that hilarious? Please tell me what he said. Gandhi,
Uh,
Gandhi
it started
burgers
off
or
with this thing about, yeah, it's something like that. It started off with about, just give me a sec now. My mind is a little daffy. Sorry, it was
it
a
was
long day in the
cute.
booth. Yeah, it started about how we need to start questioning history. There's restaurants like Derringer's and Capone's. Why isn't there something like
The
Mother
Gandhi
Teresa's,
grill.
the Gandhi Grill? What about Mother Teresa's Steakhouse or Gandhi's Grill?
Yes.
And when he said Gandhi's Grill, I lost it. For perpetuity,
Oh,
folks, my dad, there's a neighborhood a good couple of kilometers away from where I live called Kensington. And Gandhi had a residence in the Kensington Notting Hill area. And after Gandhi had been deposed and sent back to the Natal region, my grandparents bought Gandhi's house. So, yes, there's my sticky little footprint in that little uh, bit of
that's
history. My dad lived in Gandhi's house.
no way. That's
I wouldn't
amazing.
lie. Now I sound like George Washington. Would never tell a lie. But yes, it is the truth. My
Wow.
father lived in Gandhi's house.
Interesting.
But still, another bozo on the bus. And that is the culture of doing it sober life. Isn't it funny when you quit drinking, first and foremost, alcohol or drugs aren't your best friend anymore, but when you are in early sobriety, coffee becomes your best friend. Ever had that experience?
Coffee and
Don't get me
cigarettes.
don't get me started. Don't get me started. That and tobacco, of course. Caffeine and
So, what
nicotine.
about the coffee? Like you can't drink it anymore
No,
at
cigarettes.
night?
I have coffee still. I have coffee still, but I've toned down on the caffeine a lot. I get the jitters badly.
Mm,
Uh, but what the hell? The taste is just so delectable.
it is. It is. Now, have
Ever
you
had mint
stopped
coffee
smoking?
before? Entirely.
Oh,
Can you
bravo.
see I'm a lot less grey here around the chins ever since I had nicotine withdrawals?
Wow, that's cool. That is,
I'm
you
I'm
actually,
joking.
you look amazing. Your
Yes.
face is thinner, and
Thank
you
you.
just look different.
As do you, my darling. But it's all what I would give. That all I have to give first and foremost to working the program continually. If there's a
Hmm.
fuck up, revise the steps. Revise,
Yeah,
revise, revise. Secondly,
right.
be active.
Yeah.
Correct. And then doing what you love and loving what you do. By the way, that reminds me, where the hell did you learn to paint so beautifully on wood? I envy you.
I just I just started painting on wood actually. I mean, I enjoy I used to paint on it like in my using days, but
Really?
I don't really remember. I would paint, oh gosh, different. My friend who was the owner of Winnie the Pooh, he had the rights, his family. I
Oh,
painted
wow.
him, Winnie the Pooh, and then some other characters like Geronimo and some Indian and all these different characters. What reminded me of him, and
Right?
that was I painted that on wood. But I don't know. I like to paint on things that have character to them, bark and
Ah,
stuff
of
like
course.
that. rather than just a canvas, you
Well, I've
know?
just converted to canvas, believe it or not, because I started with the canvas paper, which you get like A4 papers in
Yeah.
rolls.
Hmm.
And the canvas experience I'm really enjoying because my mother gave me a easel for Christmas last year,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
the set came with a set of canvas. And the reason why I bring it up is it's important to try out that kind of versatility. Remember when you and I just met in 2020 for my show? I always said, try out your versatility, and what doesn't work for you, you've taken any experience from it, nevertheless, done it, cross it off your list, carry on with what works for you. And it's surprising to see that, especially when it comes to painting on different textures, the experience feels completely different. And I'm referring to the stroke with the brush, how the acrylic plays out on your chosen medium, and your choice of color palette as a result. I envy you that, and the designs that you've come up with is just si bellissimo.
Well, I just, like I get it. But that first I'll say it's very interesting that you say that because right now I've been painting a lot more and sometimes I feel guilty about it, but
Why?
that's not right because I would always work, at night. I should
Ah,
be creating shirts. I should be creating this. I should be making this. I should be updating my website.
ah,
No, I'm not doing that anymore. After 9 years, I want to paint at night and not feel bad about
right.
it because I worked all day. So it's
Correct.
interesting, yeah, that you said that about the textures because I first started with the vintage travel cases. I
Of
did
course.
Florida, where every side was a different thing. And then I did New
Ah,
York, which I'll send you a picture of. And
please
I
do.
didn't like it because it was too small and I had to be very precise. Although I could be
Oh,
very creative, I didn't like
sure.
it as much as the wood.
Ah, tell me, what wood did you use? Did you use laminated pine? Did you use bark or what?
I just used a cedar slice right out of somebody's backyard
Oh,
that I
cedar.
bought.
But with a
Yeah,
rugged texture or with a sanded off texture?
rugged,
Ah,
rugged. Yeah.
that must have made for a very interesting experience.
Well, it uses a lot of paint, so I'm doing an octopus right.
Because you're in
It
Florida.
just, you know, it's like
We're going to be doing a
so.
lot of painting this Christmas.
Oh God, that would be so wonderful, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I haven't drawn or painted in a while. Just for perpetuity's sake, I'm now self employed. I've got my own media production company. And in between attending meetings and then physically recording stuff that has to go out on air, much like with what we're doing here, everything works according to a deadline. So you try and structure everything. I'm still getting within the flow of assigning this hour in the day to answer emails and then submitting auditions. And then whenever I get a contract, fine, let's work on the deadline. Then I would section another portion of the day to go and do recording. And then before I rub my eyes out, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm.
But I'm lying. I did do a drawing of a castle, a creepy castle, like the kind of castle that you would see in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
In
That kind of
Transylvania or something.
in
I saw it. It was
Transylvania.
cool. It
Did,
was super
no,
cool.
no, that's another castle. That's another castle I did for Mum. I'm talking about a completely new one that I did because I wanted to do that one with color, and I didn't want to do
Oh,
Mom's Castle in color yet because I wasn't sure how much shading I would need. I'm gonna have to take that thing again of Mom's and give it some decent color because I use
yes,
Sharpies
that would be
and
cool.
ink pens. But to coincide with what Ewan's saying with regards to the color palettes and that, it's refreshing and humbling to see that your eye can become a lot more detailed the more that you do it. And if you should, can I use a nasty word, fuck up? Um, Correcting it is equally important to resurrect the picture and not just toss it away. Because, I mean, you've gone through all that effort after all.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting you say that. And hi, Jackie and Nina. Please, if you want to come up, let us know. Our guest is not here, so we're just kind of having a conversation about art and recovery. But it's interesting you say that because I find myself the last two paintings that I did, I go, oh, I messed it up, and then I went, no, no, it doesn't matter. It's your painting. It doesn't have to
Correct.
be perfect. And
Correct.
when it's done, it's done. When I don't go crazy like I did before to make everything perfect. I do it and then I go, okay, I could fix these things, and then I'm like, I could fix more, but then I don't. I go, okay, it's done. And I never did that before. Now I can feel secure with being me, just an individual, my own art, rather than trying to impress people to have it perfect of what I thought was perfect, whatever that may mean.
Let me stop you right there. I can understand why you're saying it, but here's the reason why. The
Hmm.
artist is never satisfied, and you and I are right brain dominant. So what happens? We become overtly critical. Every time I'm busy with a picture, and this happened over Christmas, my
Hmm.
mum said to me, "Why are you being so critical?" Because often I would, be in between brush strokes or in the stroke of a Sharpie, and I would just go, "Fuck." She would whack me over the head and say, "Don't do that. It's the imperfections which make the overall image perfect." Because if you look at a picture from nearby, you see the imperfections. Look at it far away, you see the whole image as a whole. Coinciding with what you said, the moment that you finish it, put it away, put it out of your head, maybe revisit it 3, 4 months down the line, and actually
Yeah.
realize, well, that wasn't there yesterday. I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
But I'm still angry at you, mind you. You criticized
What?
one of my pictures.
What?
Remember the dog that I made with the wide mouth? You said it looked like
What?
a toilet. The one that I made over Christmas.
Well, I call it like I see it. No, it was a dog?
It was a dog with a wide open mouth, and in brackets, in a speech bubble, it said, "Wait, what are you going to do with that? Don't I ever say that? It hurts, you bastard." I was trying to emulate a doctor having a dog having a thermometer shoved up the cornhole whenever you get taken for his yearly checkup. And that was my first attempt at satire. So if it worked, it worked. But hey, when you said it looked like a toilet, I couldn't help but riff on the matter by saying, "A bidet woofer, now available from Bed Bath & Beyond." So it served its purpose.
Yes, that's funny. You got to send me that again.
I will.
Well, it looks like she's not showing up, Chris. So,
Oh boy.
as much
Are
as
we
I
going to cut
love
this one
talking to
short?
you,
As do I, darling.
I'm sad.
Folks,
Another guest gone. I mean,
phooey. You know
yeah.
what? I'm gonna talk to you about the guest prep after we end the show. Folks, we humbly apologize with regards to this having happened. Believe you me, and believe you us both when we say this was unforeseen circumstances. We arranged these interviews days, weeks, and months in advance. Oftentimes, our guests cannot make it because of an act of God, perhaps, or because of the fact that there might be a mix-up in communication and the like. But whenever such situation arises, we try and improvise as much as we can around it. But unfortunately, this was also one of those circumstances where we couldn't get the guest on time. But we will try our hardest in future to ensure that our guests do arrive early, as a matter of fact. But in the meantime, you can catch up on the catalog of last year and some of the episodes that we did this year, courtesy of Apple Podcasts. We also have the videos, which are available on YouTube, on Daniela's YouTube channel. Be sure to key in exactly DIS Delta India Sierra Space Live. And there you'll see some of our interviews marked with awesome sassy thumbnails. But until we meet each other again, I'm Chris Snell. That's Daniela Park. Remember, life is better when you're doing it sober. Sayonara.
Good night, Chris.
Good night, darling.